The Thing About Bees, a Love Letter by Shabazz, Larkin. When a bee and a flower love each other very much, a fruit is born. The flower makes a sticky yellow dust called pollen. As the bee drinks the flower's nectar, she gets pollen all over her hairy body. The bee moves pollen from one flower to another. Then we wait and wait, and presto, the flower turns into a fruit you can eat, strawberries. This process is called pollination. We'd be hungry without the bees. They help vegetables and nuts grow too. Thank you, bees. Here's the thing about bees. Sometimes bees can be a bit rude. They fly in your face and prance on your food. They buzz in the bushes and buzz in your ear. They sneak up behind you and fill you with fear. And worst of all, they do this thing called sting. Ouch! We may want bees gone because their sting hurts, but if they were gone, it would hurt much worse. Without bees, there'd be no more picnics with watermelon. There'd be no more smoothies with mangoes. There'd be no more strawberries for shortcake and no more avocados for tacos. There'd be no apples, which means no more pie. No more cucumbers, which means no more pickles. No more blueberries and raspberries for pancakes or sweet cherries to drizzle. Because some foods won't grow without bees to help them along. In a way, the bees are just like you. You buzz in the bushes and you buzz in my ear. You sneak up behind me and fill me with fear. You fly in my face and you prance on my food. You even sting when you're in a bad mood. But I never stopped loving you. You're my sweet cherry, the apple pie of my eye. You're my cucumber pickle, my bumblebee in the sky. You're my cold watermelon at a picnic in the park. You're the avocado on my tacos. You're my strawberry heart. Without those little buzzers, the world wouldn't know what to do. That's the thing about bees. We need them just as much as we need you. I have a lot to learn from bees. I wrote this book because I have a ridiculous fear of bees. When my son was born, I didn't want to pass that fear to them, so I set out to discover all I could about the little buzzers. I learned 3 things about bees. First, I learned that every living creature has a special part to play in the world, and that includes you. Second, when I learned more about a scary thing, the thing feels less scary to me. Third, I researched which bees and wasps are kind and which are kind of mean. I made a guide to help you see the difference too. It's brave to try to understand the things that scare us. Now go be brave. Love, Shabazz. Everything you need to know about how not to get stung. A guide to bees and wasps from kind to kinda mean. Bees. Bumblebees. The friendliest of all the bees. They can sting but usually ignore humans. Nest in the ground. Excellent pollinators. Make honey, but not nearly as much as honeybees. They're very fuzzy, too big and blobby for its tiny little wings, but flies anyhow. Carpenter bee, a big harmless bee, rarely stings, makes nests in dead wood, like in an old log or in your house. That's why it's called a carpenter bee. They're great pollinators, has a little furry jacket. A pollinator is anything like a bee, a bird, a butterfly, or bat that helps fruits and vegetables grow by spreading pollen from plant to plant. Honeybee is the world's best pollinator and pollen eaters. They're very friendly, can only sting once, live inside hollow trees or logs, or in human-built hives. They make honey and then eat it. They make wax to build their honeycomb, for storing the pollen, honey, and their baby bees. Does a waggle dance to help hive mates find the good flowers. Wasps are next. The first one is a mud dauber. This little buzzer is not a bee. It's not aggressive and rarely stings. Has a long skinny body with almost no hair. Hunts spiders for dinner. Most famous for its tube-shaped nests made out of mud. And it is not a pollinator. The hornet is the largest wasp, only aggressive when threatened. Its sting hurts the most of all the wasps, and they can sting more than once. A pollinator, but much less as the bees. It chews on wood into the pulp to make paper nests. Loves to eat rotting fruit and other insects. And finally, the yellow jacket. These are very aggressive when threatened. Not very hairy. Also not a bee, but they do pollinate a bit. If you see one, walk away slowly. If one stings you, run away fast because others will follow. It hunts garden pests, making gardeners happy. Eats meat and people food, making picnickers grumpy. Here are some bee safety and etiquette tips. Ignore bees in flight. They can't sting you if they are not on you. Stay calm and hold still if a bee comes around. Never swat at bees. They will sting you if you do. Avoid carrying ripe mangoes or you will smell like bee dinner. Wear shoes. Some bees make a nest in the ground. And don't forget, bees don't want to sting you. They are busy collecting pollen. Tell an adult right away if a bee stings you. Wear a hat if you don't like bees in your hair. If you are still afraid of bees, you could wear a beekeeper suit, because we are all beekeepers. But seriously, we need to love the pollinators. Do all that you can to save the bees, please. Love will conquer fear. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about bees, and the next time you see them, that you will not be quite so afraid.